English learners. Welcome back to the All in English podcast. I'm Emma.
And I'm Andrew, and today we are talking about something that happens to everyone, and nobody teaches you how to handle it properly.
A bad day. Not a bad life, not a crisis, just one of those days where everything feels heavier than it should. And if you don't know what to do with it, that one day quietly becomes a bad week.
And in this episode, we are going to cover how to mentally reset after a bad day, how to avoid emotional spiraling, simple strategies to protect your week, how to regain control of your thoughts, and practical tools to bounce back quickly.
Real tools, not just think positive.
Definitely not just think positive.
Before we start, think about the last bad day you had. And here's the rule. You cannot say, I don't have bad days. Everyone has bad days. That answer is blocked.
Good. So, what did you do with it? Did you go to bed and wake up reset? Or did it follow you into the next morning, the next conversation, the next week?
And here's the twist. Most people don't lose to the bad day itself. They lose to what happens after, the spiral that follows.
I have a very specific example of this. A few months ago, I had one terrible meeting at work. One. Everything else that day was fine, but that one meeting sat in my head for the entire evening. I replayed it at dinner, I replayed it in the shower, I woke up at 2 a.m. and replayed it again.
A meeting that lasted 40 minutes lived in your head for 16 hours.
Rent-free, completely rent-free. And the next day, I was already tired before it started.
And that is exactly what today is about. Not the bad day, but how to stop it from taking everything else with it. And you, friend, think about this in English for 1 second. Finish this sentence in your head. When I have a bad day, I usually... Just notice your answer. That's already practice.
Today, we want to give you two things. Real B2 English to talk about emotions, mental health, and resilience in a natural way. And a message. A bad day is information, not a verdict. It doesn't define your week, and it definitely doesn't define you.
And we are not experts. We are two people who have had plenty of bad days and are still figuring out what to do with them. But that's exactly why we want to have this conversation.
This is a B2 episode, natural and rich English, but we'll speak clearly and explain new words as they come up. You don't have to catch everything. And if something moves fast, listen again later. That second listen is magic.
If you're a strong B1 listener, stay with us. Some parts will stretch you, and that stretch is exactly how your English grows.
One small favor before we go deeper. If you enjoy learning and thinking with us, please like this episode, subscribe, and share it with one person who had a bad Tuesday 3 weeks ago and is somehow still emotionally living in it.
Every like and comment helps more learners find us. And here is our question for today. What usually ruins your day the most? A difficult conversation? A mistake at work? Bad news? Or just waking up on the wrong side? For example, what ruins my day most is a difficult conversation that I can't stop replaying. Or just unexpected bad news. I never know what to do with it. One honest sentence in the comments is enough.
Let's start with a picture. You're having a normal day, and then something happens. Maybe someone says something that stings. Maybe a plan falls apart. Maybe you make a mistake in front of people, and suddenly the whole day changes color.
Like someone turned the lights down.
Exactly. And the natural response is to go over it, analyze it, try to understand what went wrong, what you should have said, what you could have done differently.
Which sounds useful, but there's a point where analyzing becomes something else entirely.
It becomes rumination, and rumination means replaying a painful thought or situation over and over without reaching any new conclusion. You're not solving anything, you're just sitting in the pain on repeat.
Like a song stuck in your head, but the song is a bad memory and it plays at 2 a.m.
Exactly that. And rumination is dangerous because it feels productive. It feels like you're working through something, but you're not moving forward, you're just circling.
And that circling is what we call emotional spiraling. Emotional spiraling is when one bad feeling pulls in another, and then another, until a bad meeting becomes I'm bad at my job, becomes nobody respects me, becomes my whole life is going wrong.
One small thing becomes everything in about 20 minutes.
I am very familiar with this process. Most people are. And the first thing to understand is this is not weakness. This is just how the brain works when it's trying to protect you. It replays the threat to make sure you're prepared next time. The problem is it doesn't know when to stop.
So, what do we actually do? Because knowing it's the brain doesn't make it quieter.
Step 1, name it and contain it. When the bad day hits, say it out loud or in your head. This is a bad day, not a bad week, not a bad life, just today. Giving it a border, a beginning and an end, stops it from expanding into everything else.
Like drawing a circle around it.
Exactly. You're not denying it, you're just refusing to let it take more space than it deserves. And try this right now in English. Say quietly to yourself, this is today. Today is not forever. Simple, but your brain needs to hear it.
Step 2, do a mental reset. And a mental reset means deliberately interrupting the spiral with something physical and immediate.
Not scrolling, not calling someone to complain for an hour. That can actually make the spiral worse. Something that uses your body. A 10-minute walk, washing the dishes with your full attention, making tea slowly, exercise if you have the energy.
The body and the mind are connected. When you move the body deliberately, the mind has to follow.
And this is where the word regulate comes in. To regulate your emotions means to bring them back to a manageable level, not to eliminate them, but to turn the volume down enough that you can think clearly again.
Because you can't make good decisions from inside a spiral. You can only make more spiral.
Step 3, protect your week with one small boundary. After a bad day, the temptation is to either push through and pretend it didn't happen, or to cancel everything and disappear.
I have done both. Neither works particularly well.
The middle path is this. Keep your important commitments, cancel the optional ones, protect your sleep, eat something real, and give yourself permission to not be fully on for one evening. You don't have to perform recovery, you just have to rest.
Permission to not be fully on. I really like that.
Step 4, regain control of your thoughts with one simple question. When the spiral starts, ask yourself, is this thought useful right now? Not, is it true? Not, is it fair? Just, is it useful right now?
Because some thoughts are true but completely useless at 11 p.m.
Exactly. If the answer is no, not useful right now, you give yourself permission to set it down. Not forever, just for tonight. You can pick it up tomorrow if you still need it. Most of the time, you won't.
And the last tool, and this one is quiet but powerful, write it down. One paragraph, what happened, how you felt, and what you want to do differently. Not to analyze it to death, just to get it out of your head and onto a page.
Because thoughts that live only in your head grow. Thoughts on paper stay the size they actually are.
And the next morning, most of the time, you read it back and think, okay, that was hard and I survived it, and today is a different day.
A bad day is not a sign that something is permanently wrong. It's a sign that you're human, that you care, and that life is not always smooth. And that is completely okay.
If today was one of those days for you, you are not alone, and you don't have to have it all together tonight.
A bad day doesn't get a vote on who you are. Only you get that vote.
Let's slow down and do our word tour. Key words from today, explained clearly and slowly. Repeat with us or just listen.
Rumination. replaying a painful thought or situation over and over in your mind without reaching any new conclusion or solution. For example, she couldn't sleep because of rumination. The argument kept replaying in her head all night. Or, he knew rumination wasn't helping, but he couldn't stop going over the same conversation. Repeat. Rumination. Rumination. Slowly. Ru-me-na-shen.
Emotional spiraling, when one bad feeling pulls in another and another until something small feels like everything is wrong. For example, one critical comment at work sent her into emotional spiraling for the rest of the day. Or he recognized the emotional spiraling starting and went for a walk before it got worse. Repeat, emotional spiraling. Emotional spiraling. Slowly, emotional spiraling. I could write a book about this one, a very long book.
To regulate. To bring your emotions back to a manageable level, not to eliminate them, but to turn the volume down so you can think clearly. For example, she used deep breathing to regulate her emotions before the difficult conversation. Or, exercise helps him regulate when his thoughts are moving too fast. Repeat, to regulate. To regulate. Slowly, to reg-you-late.
Mental reset. A deliberate action that interrupts a negative thought pattern and brings you back to the present moment. For example, a 10-minute walk was his mental reset after every difficult day at work. Or she used cooking as a mental reset. Doing something with her hands helped her stop overthinking. Repeat, mental reset. Mental reset. Slowly, mental reset.
And remember, you can always come back to this word tour and listen again. Each time, the words will feel more natural.
To bounce back. To recover quickly after something difficult. To return to a good state after a setback. For example, she didn't pretend the day wasn't hard, but she bounced back by the next morning. Or, learning to bounce back quickly is one of the most valuable skills you can build. Repeat, to bounce back. To bounce back. Slowly, to bounce back.
Resilience. The ability to recover from difficult situations and keep moving forward. Not the absence of pain, but the capacity to move through it. For example, resilience doesn't mean you don't feel the hard days. It means you don't stay there. Or, she built resilience slowly, one bad day at a time, one recovery at a time. Repeat, resilience. Resilience. Slowly. Resilience.
To contain, to keep something within limits, to stop it from spreading or growing beyond what it actually is. For example, he learned to contain a bad day by reminding himself, this is today, not my whole life. Or, naming your emotion helps contain it. It gives the feeling a border. Repeat, to contain. To contain. Slowly, to contain. That word alone changed how I think about bad days, genuinely.
And if you want extra practice, replay this word tour and shadow with us. Say the words at the same time we do. It makes pronunciation feel natural in your mouth. You don't have to remember every word today. Even 2 or 3 that stayed with you is already real progress.
A bad day is not the problem. The problem is believing it has more power over your life than it actually does. And we are not here as people who always handle this perfectly. Some bad days I still spiral. Some evenings Emma still ruminates. We are in this with you.
But every time you name it, contain it, reset, and keep going, you get a little better at it. Not perfect, just better.
Tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself one question. What is one thing I can do tomorrow morning to start fresh? Not to fix everything, just one small thing. That's your reset button for tomorrow.
And if you want to hear more strategies to protect your day and your week, tell us in the comments. Write, "I want more strategies," and we will make that episode for you.
And if this episode helped you, share it with one person who is still emotionally living in a bad day from last week. And subscribe if you haven't yet. We are here every week.
In the comments, finish this sentence. When I have a bad day, from now on, I will... We would love to read those.
And before we go, one question for you. You handled today, but are you actually living your daily life, or are you just going through it on autopilot, moving from one task to the next, one week to the next, without really being there?
If that question made you pause, we have an episode that goes deep on exactly that. It might be the most important conversation we've had so far. It's right there waiting for you.
Don't just go through it, go watch it.
Bad days happen. What you do after, that's the part that's yours. This is Emma.
And this is Andrew.
And you have been listening to the All in English podcast. Bye.